I, 28 female, lost my wife, M, 2 years ago in an accident when our son was an infant. Throughout our entire relationship, from ages 20 to 26, she was very open about how her parents didn't accept her and that she'd given up on offering an olive branch. However, she seemed to have made peace with the fact that they weren't around anymore, and my family always embraced her with open arms, so she still had some support regardless. When we had our son, M told me that she didn't want her parents to know anything about our child, even through the grapevine. She had let her mom and dad know that we were getting married a few years prior, but they didn't respond very well to the news, so she didn't think they would change their tune. If they ever managed to hear about our son's birth, they never contacted us to say anything about it. They didn't come to the funeral. I invited them because I thought they might want to be there. She was their only child, and I assumed that any animosity they had about how she lived would have been overshadowed by the loss of her in general. I heard nothing from them for 2 years, until a few weeks ago when I got a message request on Facebook from M's mother. She said she and her husband wanted to know more about our son and me, so she invited me to get a cup of coffee since they were in town. I agreed to meet them to talk, but I left my son at home with my sister. They looked a little disappointed when I got there, and he wasn't with me, but they didn't say anything about that at first. Instead, they started off with a few normal questions: how we met, what M's life was like, and what our wedding was like. Then they started asking about when they could spend time with our son, because they had a right to as his grandparents. I told them my wife had made it very clear that she didn't want them to know anything about our baby. I felt like I was already betraying M's wishes by agreeing to meet with them and even showing them pictures of him, so the idea of them meeting him was a little too much for me at the time. I said I needed to take a bit to think about whether or not I'd allow that. They both seemed upset about it, and they started to argue with me, so I shut the conversation down and said I'd contact them again when I decided. I went home and told my sister what happened, and she said that she understood I wanted to listen to M's wishes, but she's gone now, and her parents may have changed. She felt it would be wrong of me to stop them from having a relationship with their daughter's only child. She also said that I was making it harder on myself by avoiding people who could help me raise my son, since now I'm doing it on my own. I don't want to betray M. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. They didn't come to their own daughter's funeral. Screw this request. The fact that these people already feel entitled to some kind of relationship when they had none with their daughter and didn't come to say goodbye is all the information you need to ensure they stay out of your life forever. This is not about betraying your wife. This is about protecting your son. My guess is they found out there was a child and want a do-over. Agree with all of this. It doesn't sound like they've changed at all. The way it's written, they're demanding this access, not even trying to build a relationship first. I would suggest that you begin to gather any documentation you can about her wishes and behavior. You also need to be sure that you're legally the parent. You should also consult an attorney ASAP. That way you will have someone already lined up familiar with the situation when the parents decide to start something. And I'm pretty sure that they will. Do not listen to your sister. Your wife knew them. You don't. People don't generally change that much. Don't let them turn your son against you. That's their goal, you know. Turn them against your lifestyle and you to get your son, take custody, raise him, make him their do-over child. As of now, your family is in danger. Update. Am I the idiot for wanting to stay true to my wife's wishes? I figured I might give an update, as it's pretty much been handled now. But first, I do want to say thanks to all of you who offered your responses. Most of you were very kind, which I appreciated more than you know. My son and I went and brought M flowers and sat with her for a while. Little man fell asleep while we were there, so I had a minute to clear my head and think things through. I listened to your suggestions and took a minute to consider what further action I could take, and if those actions would honor what M would want and benefit our son. I contacted M's mother to inform her that because our son is biologically mine, they don't maintain any legal right to see him. I'm not interested in starting some unnecessary battle either. I also said that M made it very clear when she was still here that she didn't want our son to know them. She had made that choice because of how they treated her in the past and was only willing to change her mind if they had tried to grow as people. So it makes little sense for me to allow them into his life if they've not done that. I told her goodbye and I wished her well. She responded and said that she understood why M made such a firm decision because she and her husband did things they could never take back or make up for. She told me she regretted every choice she's ever made to make her daughter feel as though she wasn't loved. She also said that M's dad was the one who decided for them not to attend the funeral. He didn't want to go for reasons she didn't specify, but it's not hard to figure it out. And because she's been a housewife for pretty much her entire marriage, I'm assuming she didn't have the resources to get a plane ticket to fly here. She left it off by telling me that the only person who could forgive her wasn't here anymore to hear her say sorry. However, she still wanted me to know how much she wished she had said it before, and that for the sake of honoring what M wanted, neither she nor her husband would be trying to contact me again. I'm very thankful that there was no serious conflict or anything like that, and that M's mom was civil about it, but I wish M had been here to receive the apologies. She had accepted that she couldn't change them, but she still wished that they would eventually see the light and repair their relationship. She deserved to know they came to regret what they'd done, or that her mom regrets it at the very least. You did good, honey. I'm sorry M couldn't hear this apology from her mom, but I'm glad you set clear boundaries on their non-involvement in your son's future. I think M would be very proud of you. Sad that mom didn't or couldn't stand up to her husband for her daughter. She wasn't on board with the decisions made by the dad. She probably went along because it was an abusive relationship. Yes, it was crappy behavior, but who are you to judge unless you were in a similar situation? Maybe OP could reach out to mom privately and share a few pics of the kid. Who knows? Maybe that would inspire mom to dump the idiot husband. I, 46 female, am a mother of 5 and am 5 months pregnant. I have twin girls, who I'll call Lisa and Sophia, tween. My youngest boy, Joshua, nearly adult. My baby girl, Emily, who's 1. And my oldest son, Danny, 21. We were on a trip to Hawaii a few weeks ago. My husband didn't come because of an unexpected work emergency, but he told us to have fun. My twins cried a lot, so my son Joshua and I comforted them, but Danny stood doing nothing. We had so many fun things planned to do with their father, but since he couldn't come, we didn't end up doing much. But whatever we did, except eat, Danny was absent from it. For example, going to the beach, banana boats, luau's, and watching his younger sisters when they just wanted to go to the pool. He'd stay in his room on his phone, chatting with his friends. The next week of vacation, I was stressed with Danny. I hated putting most of the work on Josh because he wanted to have fun too, and my daughters helped with the baby. I called him down to help, but he said he wanted to relax and chill, when we literally came here to relax, chill, and have fun. However, we weren't having lots of fun with less help, a crying baby, 2 tweens who wanted to go to the pool, but had to do what I had the capability of doing while carrying, and my other son who tried to get away from his sisters for at least an hour. It was a mess. I shouted at him, "If you can't step up and help the woman who gave birth to you, lets you live in her house rent-free while giving you a job, whose money you just spend on silly games, instead of getting an apartment, then you can get out of my house and pay for your own stuff." He looked shocked and left, and just about an hour after, my sister-in-law and my in-laws called, asking me why I'd shouted at my son when he did nothing. I told them, yeah, he's been doing nothing except eating and chatting in his room with his silly friends, instead of helping out his mother and siblings, and I hung up. When we returned from our vacation, my husband yelled at our son for not helping and sent him up to his room. Lots of our family are on my side, but my in-laws think that I was in the wrong. So, am I the idiot? It was your choice to give birth to 5 kids, not Danny's. And you gave birth to 5 kids, not 1 kid and 4 babysitters. What exactly are you doing in this story, except for being pregnant? Again. Stop popping them out if you can't handle so many. And I say this as a parent. LMAO. You are the idiot. Come on, dude, don't say that. OP didn't come here to hear about how neglectful she is and how much she's parentifying her children and using them for babysitting. Dude, she fed them and let them live for free under her roof. So they must serve her open factory uterus. At what age can she stop offering adult children free housing and trips to Hawaii? The son is 21. Will he ever be an adult in your eyes? Apparently not soon, since her dear husband sent Danny to his room when they got home. He sent a 21-year-old to his room. When are you going to treat him like a full-grown adult? That being said, if I was Danny, I'd probably have a job and move out. Wait, everyone. OP is not the idiot. The adult son has been given a free trip to Hawaii and asked to take his sisters to the pool because mom doesn't have dad to help watch the kids. I don't see anything wrong with a bit of babysitting or everyone working together as a team. I wouldn't expect a tween to be looking after a toddler to the point that they're miserable. But hey, your dad is busy. Would you take the little one to the toilet while I make breakfast? That just isn't abusive. People need to stop being entitled idiots. I'm going with everyone's the idiot here because Joshua, Lisa, and Sophia shouldn't have to be on the hook for taking care of the kids. Still, it isn't unreasonable to expect a 21-year-old who isn't in school, isn't paying rent or financially contributing to help around the house by helping with their younger siblings. It has to be explicitly stated, but it isn't crazy. And for your information, you can't ground a 21-year-old and still have a relationship with them. I, 35, have a stepdaughter, a young teen, who spends every other weekend at my home. My husband and I have a baby and 2 toddlers. My baby is super fussy. It's been awful. The doctor said she's okay, she's just colicky. She cries all night long. The past few months have been a nightmare. Working all day, no sleep at night. I am a super light sleeper. I've been canceling our weekends with my stepdaughter so my husband and I can catch up on sleep. My stepdaughter decided to blast us on social media. She said my dad and stepmom can't even take care of the kids that they have, yet they keep having more. So much for a reliable, loving parent. I followed my husband's family asking them what was wrong. She let them know that we keep canceling on her time. It's not just her time, it's her dad's too. It's been a very difficult situation for both of us. My in-laws are now saying that we're the idiots in this situation. They stopped helping us with the younger kids altogether. Am I the idiot here? I feel like it's just circumstances. No one asked for a colicky baby. You are the idiot. You just can't cancel being a parent because it's inconvenient. The colicky baby isn't your fault, but your solution is unfair to your stepdaughter. Her father's abandoning her and disappearing from her life. It would be best if you guys came up with another way of dealing with this. Exactly. All I'm hearing is, I'm going to put my parental duties on pause right now because I need more sleep. That's more important than spending time with my daughter. You're kidding me, right? You can't just cancel on one kid because of your other. I'm sorry, but this really makes you look like a bad parent. Something about the way OP keeps having a baby every year and how her stepdaughter said they keep having more instead of they had another one makes me believe that OP has treated her stepdaughter as second rate compared to her biological children. So while it usually is normal for older siblings to want to bond with their younger siblings, I doubt the stepdaughter really yearns to play third parent to the kid who seems to be her third replacement. After all, third time is the charm. OP apparently thinks approximately 4 days a month with her father is more than this child needs, and she should be happy to be shoved aside. After all, she's not OP's kid, so what does any of this kid's needs matter anyway? She's a background character in the story of OP's life, and apparently in her own father's too. My husband and I have 4 kids, 3 boys, Jackson, 20, Michael, nearly adult, Nicholas, teen, and a girl, Charlotte, younger teen. Before Charlotte, the last girl born into my husband's family was my husband's grandmother. When we announced that we were pregnant with a girl, his family went crazy. We've gotten more presents from his family for Charlotte than for all of our sons combined. Heck, we had a 2-bedroom house when we got pregnant with Charlotte, and his family bought us a 3-bedroom house so that she could have her own room. My mother-in-law and father-in-law set up a room for Charlotte in case we wanted a weekend off, and she immediately became the center of attention at family gatherings. I started working after I gave birth to Charlotte, and nearly every family member wanted to babysit. Charlotte has grown up extremely spoiled by these family members. Every birthday or holiday, she gets more presents than all the boys combined. She even gets presents on the boys' birthdays, and sometimes she gets nicer presents than they do. I've talked to them about treating the kids equally, and they said that they would, but nothing would change. I wanted to hire a babysitter, but my husband refused because his family was still willing to babysit for free. The boys don't like to see this side of the family anymore, but Charlotte loves them. So my mother-in-law and father-in-law opened a savings account with her so that they could give her money without her brothers or us knowing. Both of my husband's sisters-in-law pick Charlotte up from school and take her shopping and out for manicures. And when she has a day off from school, they go on day trips. Charlotte's birthday just passed, and she got a new iPhone 14 from her grandparents, a new iPad Pro, and accessories from her 2 nearby aunts, and the relatives that live a little further away sent thousands of dollars. The birthday party was the last straw. The people that sent Charlotte hundreds of dollars gave my younger 2 boys $20 and nothing for Jackson. Nobody wanted to come over for their birthdays, and nobody's ever gotten them a present like Charlotte's. I told my husband I don't want his family to see Charlotte until they can learn to treat the kids equally, but he says we can't keep them away from her, considering all they've done for us. Charlotte wants to keep in contact with them. They buy her whatever she wants and take her to Disneyland, Universal Studios, spa days, shopping on Rodeo Drive, etc., and treat her like a princess. My husband and I can't agree on what to do with his family. He doesn't want to do anything because they bought us a house, babysat for free for years, will most likely pay for her college and a car and a place to live while in college, and helped us get into a better financial situation. But then treating Charlotte like this is hurting the boys. Everyone's the idiot here. Where was the interest in setting boundaries for the last 15 years? Unfortunately, you are way too late on this one, and now have a much harder job trying to set this boundary. You and your husband accepted a house from them, lots of presents, etc. If you wanted to teach your daughter about sharing, etc., and didn't want to hurt feelings, you could have taught your daughter when she was younger. But now, yeah, it's too little too late. Agreed. The time to act was over a decade ago. The boys' feelings are already hurt, and Charlotte is spoiled. But I guess a late wake-up call is better than no wake-up call. Favoritism hurts all children. Mom, take the iPhone 14 away and send it back to the grandparents. Man, this is all in all just horrendous parenting. Charlotte is in for a rude awakening when she enters the real world and realizes she's not everyone's special princess. Then again, the in-laws will bail her out, tell her nothing is her fault, and she'll never learn to stand on her own 2 feet. Charlotte will also probably wonder why her brothers don't talk to her and do things without her. Finally, she'll probably just say they're jealous. I would seriously consider some boarding school for your daughter while she'll be academically challenged, rewarded on merit, and not get away with her spoiled child crap. Bonus points if you can use it to limit contact with the in-laws, as in she can't leave campus with them,